Hello and welcome to the second T20 International. We've moved now to Gaddafi Stadium, Lahore, and it is Pakistan versus South Africa. The Bank Al Falah presents KFC T20 series. All right, then this is what happened in that first T20 International at Rawalpindi. South Africa, they made 194 for 9 in their 20 overs, led all very well at the top by Reza Hendricks, making 60 and really setting the platform for them. And then there were contributions by that middle order. In the bowling department, Mohammad Nawaz was the pick of the bowlers for Pakistan. He picked up 3 wickets. Saim Ayub, once again, handy with that ball. And in response, though, it was a poor batting effort overall by Pakistan, as they were bundled out for 139, with South Africa winning this game by 55 runs. Well, great to be back on pitch side. We're discussing the second T20 International here. Of course, Pakistan has a chance to really come back in this series and rectify some of the mistakes that they made in that first T20 International. South Africa, of course, will be feeling very confident about this one. They won that second test match and now they've won the first T20 International as well. So plenty to discuss on pitch side, and I've got with me Ramiz Raja and JP Dumani to talk about this particular match. Ramiz, Pakistan has to make a comeback. They don't have any other option, because if they lose this, then they've lost the series. What do you think? Where do you think they can improve, or what do you want to see from them in this particular game?
Well, I'm afraid they've got to learn from South Africa's playbook, which was brilliant. I mean, here's a team that walks in, group of novices basically, playing for the first time, many of them in Pakistan, and they showed the way how a game needs to be played according to the surface. I thought they used the surface brilliantly, both with bat and ball, and Pakistan are behind the 8 ball in that first game. But you're right, I mean, how many times we've seen this, that they've got to make a comeback, they've got to win this, the series is on the line, but this is how things have been, unfortunately, of late.
All right, for South Africa then, it seems to be a good last 2 weeks that we've seen for them. They won that second test match, now won that first T20. They don't have their main players. They must be feeling really good about this.
Come back to this whole phrase of momentum creates confidence, and we see that oozing now in the South African dressing room, just walking around and interacting with them, having conversations. There's a real quiet confidence about this group, and obviously it stems from the South African coach in Shukri Conrad. He oozes that sort of mentality as well. So for South Africa, it's really about how can they match what they did in the first T20, not take their foot off the pedal in any way, but try to understand what they did well, where are the slight improvements, and bring that today.
All right, if captain's hat, because we are very close to the toss now, if you win the toss in Lahore, Gaddafi Stadium, Lahore, what do? You
chase. I think there's a bit of moisture as well, so Pakistan would be better off chasing.
All right, then there you heard it from Ramiz Raja. If you win the toss, you do decide to chase here. There is a bit of moisture around the ground. And I'll tell you what, that the crowd is building up really nicely here in this ground. It is a sold-out event that we are looking forward to. Lahore never disappoints in that regard. So I'm sure that they all want to see a comeback in this particular match by Pakistan. And they've got some work to do if they are to win this. Now, we are ready with the toss. Because we've got Arooj Mumtaz out there with the 2 captains. And don't forget that we've also got the conditions to assess with Vern Philander after the toss.
The action moves to the fortress, and we are set and ready for the coin toss at the Gaddafi Stadium here in Lahore. Remember, it's the second match South Africa go 1-up in the series. Right then, all important personnel next to me, Salman Ali Agha for Pakistan, Donovan Ferreira for South Africa, and to make sure everything runs smoothly, we've got Ranjan Madugale. Salman, you got the coin?
Heads is the call.
Heads is the call.
Tails it is.
And it is the tails. Pakistan win the toss. Salman, what are you going to do and why?
We're going to bowl first.
Again, numbers would suggest, but do you see this pitch slightly different than what we saw in Pindi?
Yeah, I think it looks like a bit slow, but it's due around. We think it's going to be better in the second inning, hopefully.
Right then, so the first game, it was the manner in which Pakistan probably lost the game. What's the conversation been like in the last couple of days?
They outplayed us in last game. We just wanted to brush that game away and just start fresh new today. And that's what we talked about in the team meeting.
So are there any new faces for the fresh start then?
We have Salman in Shaheen is resting today. We have played so many games and he has played 2 test matches as well. And there is so many games coming around. So we just wanted to give him a rest.
All right then, Salman, have a good one.
Thank you.
All right, Donovan, once again, the coin toss doesn't go in your favor. Your decision would have been?
We were looking to bat first, so it's worked in our favour.
So that's worked in your favour. Any changes to your side?
Yeah, we've got one change. Bartman's in for Williams.
Any reason or just rotations?
No, just rotation of the seamers.
All right, you guys come off a fantastic win. Again, similar question to Salman. The manner in which you won the game, very clinical. How did that feel as a team and as captain as well?
Yeah, it felt really good, but I think that's in the past now. New conditions, new venue, so it's for us really to assess conditions once again and then obviously give it our best shot.
Now, the way the batting went, yes, Rizal got a half century, but there were plenty of contributions throughout. The bowling was very clinical as well. Would there be something that you're still looking to make better in spite of a very good performance?
Yeah, I think in any performance you can get better. Our bowlers really bowled well. They kept it nice and simple. So today's conditions might need the same or it might need something different. So luckily we're batting first so they can assess that while we're batting. But from a batting perspective, I think partnerships is an important thing for us. I think we lost a bit of wickets in clusters over there, which wasn't great for our momentum, but fortunately we still got to 190. So, yeah, hopefully we can get a couple of partnerships together tonight.
All right, Donovan, have a good one.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Right then, the news from the centre is that Pakistan have won the toss and will have a bowl. Now, once again, we've had a look at the toss and we know what the decision is, but what does the 22 yards for tonight mean? And I've got Vernon Philander who's joined me and he had a bit of a look for a very long time. Vern, on first glance, what do you make of the surface?
Yeah, good evening, Aruz. First of all, if you look at the surface, I think if you're a batter, you're going to be smiling ear to ear because there's a beautiful grass covering, which simply means there'll be a bit of pace on assistance. So as batters in this format, they really enjoy the ball coming onto the bat. Of course, both on either side, it's only 75 yards to clear those fences. Downtown is 70 yards. So it's not the biggest of hits on this particular surface. But I think the one thing that batters will enjoy is the ball coming onto the bat.
Now, we've spoken about the batting front, which South Africa mastered brilliantly. But then Pakistan probably couldn't because of the bowling line and length that South Africa bowled at. What was so good that South Africa did and Pakistan can probably learn from, particularly on this surface?
Yeah, I think the one thing that I was really impressed with, from a South African perspective, was that they summed up conditions pretty early. For me, when you play in the subcontinent, the one thing that you want to bring into play are those three pegs. The top of off, I know it's a simple saying, but the top of off is of paramount importance, simply because if you hit the top of off in the subcontinent, more often than not, that length is a touch too short to get full to or to get forward to, and a touch too short to get back to. So for me, at the end of the day, you want to bring those stumps into play. And I think South Africa, they used the width of the crease phenomenally well. So they haven't given the batter one particular set of clue to hit from. So they varied that release point from time to time, and that is going to be of paramount importance. But again, on subcontinent conditions, you want to bring those pegs into play.
All right, then you've heard from Vernon Philander. Keep the basics right, get the fundamentals right, and Pakistan will look to restrict South Africa for maybe less than what they did in Pindi.
All right, then Pakistan winning the toss and deciding to field first. South Africa will be batting first, and there's been one change, JP. Bartman comes in instead of Williams. How do you look at this change?
Yeah, understandable. He certainly had his injury concerns over the last few months as well. So it's great to see him back in full fitness and getting an opportunity to represent the green and gold as well. No changes in that top order. We spoke at length in the first game about the formidable partnership of Hendricks and de Kock. They've put in thousands and thousands of runs in that partnership in recent times, so they'll take a lot of confidence out of that first T20. But the lineup has a lot of firepower, and we're going with the middle order as well, which is Linda and Bosch. So hopefully they get an opportunity as well.
Yeah, Bosch had a really good game previously in that T20 international. So there you have it. That's South Africa. For Pakistan, though, there's also one change. Ramiz, they've given an opportunity to Salman Mirza instead of Shaheen Shah Afridi. How do you look at this?
Yeah, I mean, Mirza is tailor-made for T20 cricket. He's got quick arm speed, variation in pace, and he's a left-arm angle. So Shaheen Afridi obviously brings that to the table as well. Pakistan need to score runs and then need to field properly. Winning the toss and electing to field means that you've got to pick wickets. I think they lost the plot in the first game where after winning the toss, they went absolutely quiet and defensive. So the idea of winning the toss is not containing South Africa, but to rolling them over. I think that has to be the paramount suggestion or paramount thing that should drive you into bowling action.
Also, Naseem Shah, he got an opportunity in that previous game, wasn't up to task. But in terms of his career, the way he started, he really needs that performance from him to sort of get that confidence back.
I think if you want to get him back into action, Test cricket is the right medium for him, because in T20, you are under a lot of pressure and there's a staggered stint for you as well. So 1 over, then there's a pause, then you come back and bowl 2 overs in a crunch situation, then you go back again, and it's a difficult gig if you're making a comeback. But you know, it's got to get wickets up front. With the new ball, it's got to get that shape away, set the field accordingly, and have a big heart. I think this, format demands a big heart.
Just by what you saw in these conditions, you know, we heard Vern as well in terms of what length should you be bowling at. What do you make of the wicket from whatever you've seen from here?
Well, if you just go back on stats, probably one of the better batting wickets in Pakistan. So your average winning score in first innings is 180. So that's something that South Africa will be mindful of. But what Vern spoke about is there's a little bit of grass covering there, so the ball might come onto the bat quite nicely. But I think South Africa would look at this as another opportunity to just put pressure on a Pakistan team that is really struggling with confidence. So batting first gives you that added pressure now to say, right, how can we dominate from the first 20 overs, put the pressure back on? What's their pressure points when it comes to batting second here? So South Africa will really take a lot of confidence out of that. So looking forward to this matchup today.
All right, then we'll just take a short breather, a quick one, because when we do come back, we'll have a closer look at what happened in that first game. Back on pitch side, just discussing this game. Pakistan has won the toss and they've decided to bowl first. Of course, there are lots of areas that Pakistan needs to improve. Rameez, in bowling lines.
When is there not such a situation? Right, come on.
Well, maybe today.
Bring it on.
Maybe today. Maybe today might be the day that might change things. But just looking back at what happened in the first T20 International, from a bowling perspective, where do you think they were lacking?
I think they went very defensive, because they rate Rawalpindi Stadium as a high-scoring ground, and so they went absolutely quiet in a way after winning the toss. And you see that pitch map. The blue balls are Pakistani cricket balls, and so what it identifies is variation. It identifies change in length. It identifies that they were just a little bit scared of not being taken for 4s and 6s up front. Whereas if you look at South African bowling attack, it's hard length, wicket to wicket stuff. They're looking for wickets, and it's more to do with the mindset than anything else. I think Pakistan went very quiet and very defensive up front.
All right, from a South African point of view though, they were looking really good. It seemed like there was no adjustment required for all the players that had come here in terms of conditions. They understood the assignment.
Yeah, they certainly did. And what was impressive also about the captaincy was, even though there was boundaries scored from time to time with the adjusted plan, they didn't try and change too much. They knew that the variation was the pitch. So keep the consistent length, allow the variation to be the pitch. So we saw from time to time the guys, particularly the Pakistan batters, got hit on the splice, particularly trying to play the cross-bat shots. It was interesting listening to Amir Sahel talk about the fact that there wasn't a lot of batters trying to play it off the back foot. They tried to play with the front foot, even though it was the back of the length. So could they adjust to maybe playing off the back foot as well? So maybe that's something to look at for them going into this surface. But South Africa were really good at just honing in on a very, very basic, consistent plan and executed exceptionally well.
I think it's also the way South Africa or Australia would bowl to an Asian team.
Sure.
So they'd not give them anything close to the bat, because that's the only way they can hit through the line. So they kept it at that arm's length medium, and it worked perfectly.
What also worked perfectly for South Africa was Reza Hendricks, the way he batted, just understood the conditions so well. And what did you like about him overall? He was just so impressive that night.
When I think about Reza Hendricks and you see the evolvement of his game over time, he was always classified as a one-day cricketer. Very stylish, hits the ball well on the ground. But in recent times, what I've really enjoyed is the way that he's actually taken the aerial route from time to time. Even in the power play, when the ball was slightly wide on the offside, naturally what we'll see is back foot shots through the covers, but he actually went the aerial route for a change. And he still executed really well. There's a confidence about him now, you know, in terms of his T20 game. He understands it better. There's a lot of maturity about him. He's probably at the twilight ends of his career. So he's really understanding what options work for him and really commit to those options. And at the end of the day, we're always going to, as batters, you're always going to be questioned around your execution. And if you can get that higher than normal, you're going to put in the performance.
All right, Rameez, I think maybe 99% of the crowd here has come to watch Babar Azam. How badly does he need the runs? Because everybody wants to see him do well. And how do you think he can go about it?
Just be as natural, as normal as possible. Don't try to be a typical T20 slogger. That's not his game. And at this stage of his career, it's almost impossible for him to recraft himself. I think it has to be just normal batting up front. He's batting in the top order. All he has to do is to occupy the crease, and it's a golden principle. It worked in the 1900s. It is working still in 2025. So occupy the crease. Make sure that you give yourself best chance to hit the long ball. It can't be of the second ball of your innings.
All right, one positive from that previous T20 for Pakistan was Mohammad Nawaz, and he has been a positive in the last couple of months.
Sure.
I'm talking about him as an all-rounder. He's really sort of evolved. JP was talking about evolution. What do you think about his progress?
I think he bats intelligently. There's a lot of game awareness regarding his cricket because he comes in crunch moments and he bowls well wicket to wicket. I think he summed up the bowling conditions superbly, and then with the bat, I mean, he knew that the wickets were falling at the other end, but he just stood firm and helped himself to a 30-odd, which should improve his confidence. But it's just that he's becoming maturer and that he's a floater, and that is such an uneasy task to have as a batsman. You never know whether you'll be asked to go and bat at number 3 or number 7, and therefore he reads the situation so well that he can be that match-winning floater.
What target are we looking at from a South African perspective? Where do you think they feel comfortable? What total are we looking at?
I think first, before we get to the total, it's really about assessing conditions in that power play, taking the positive option. What does that look like? I think anywhere as a bare minimum, they'll probably want to look at 180 again. If they can get anywhere close to the other night in Pindi of 190, I think they will feel confident going into that bowling innings. But the power play is where they've been most impactful, particularly in that first T20. You think about 70 odd for 2 in that power play. That really stamped the authority on the game. You saw that from a Pakistan point of view, they took a back step. The confidence was shot in that power play. And if South Africa can do that again, where's that breaking point for Pakistan going into their bowling innings?
Winning total for Pakistan chasing wise?
I don't know, Zainab, it's a difficult one because, on the day even they can get a 200 here. All they need is wickets in hand, go hard in the first 6, do the simple things better and not worry about the end result. It's so important for them to think positively.
All right, feeling positive. That is what we need from Pakistan cricket. When you talk about today, they have won the toss, remember, and they've decided to bowl first. We'll take another break. And when we do come back, we'll be back with all the live pictures and the action. So don't go anywhere.